We've heard Donald Trump talk a lot about the current state of the entertainment industry in Hollywood, as so many jobs have been lost here in America, as studios have decided to flee California, flee different filming places in the United States, and instead go overseas. Why do they go overseas? Well, because they can get better tax incentives. They can get more money back on what they spend there, especially in places like the UK. We see this all the time. Well, all of that might change if what Trump said about this tariff actually goes through, because Trump once again is talking about tariffs for foreign-made movies, including studios that are based here in the U.S. that go to a different country to then make their movie. Trump announces a 100% tariff on foreign-made movies. I'm going to be real. I don't know how this gets implemented. I don't know exactly how this would work. I think there would be a lot of details to iron out to be able to enforce this, to be able to figure out exactly what this fucking means. But I tell you what, there might be one company that could be more impacted than any others. Now, certainly, we know all these companies, Warner Brothers, Universal, everybody, they do filming overseas. Now, sometimes that is certainly for a reason and for a very good reason. Like if you're doing a Mission Impossible movie and it's set in this country or in this city, they go there on location and they film it there. But there's also a lot of them that doesn't necessarily need to be in that country, but they want it there for those tax benefits. And the company that probably spends more than anybody else is 1000% Disney. Trump announces 100% movie tariff on foreign-made films, a move that will devastate Disney. They have spent, I'm not exaggerating, billions of dollars in the UK over the past couple years just on Marvel movies. They have. And they've committed, they've built out massive studios there to film essentially everything there because they want to take advantage of that tax benefit. They want to get that extra money back from filming in the UK. And when you're spending so much money like they are, when you're spending $450 million on these things, might make financial sense to move across the pond and do it all there. So they've invested in doing that. They've pretty much moved away from a lot of filming here in the United States. As a result, a lot of people have lost their jobs here. If this goes through, that move they made to save a little bit of money could cost them so much in the long run. Avengers Doomsday is filming right now. That is going to be one of the most expensive movies we've ever seen in history. That's in the UK. Star Wars Starfighter, which is in production right now for Star Wars. We know they filmed a lot of shit in the UK for their the other movies and the sequels. Well, now that's the same thing with Star Wars Starfighter. Started in UK. I think they moved to Italy for some shots as well. Disney could be fucked by this.
Yeah, and just like we were talking earlier, I was trying to figure out exactly how they're going to tax them. And according to the Goob, it's about the value of the film. But it could, I don't know, it could be a little different, but they gave me an example. They said if including certain parts of the budget and marketing, and they determined that the value of the film that was shot overseas is, and they just gave me a number, 25 million, then of course the tariff would be another 25 million. And that's on the low end. If you're talking like, what if they estimate a value of a film as $1 billion? You know, like, which would be ridiculously high, but it's like, then you're expecting them to pay that much. So
that's the thing that I don't
know how that works out, you know?
That's the thing why I said in the beginning and prefaced it with, there's a lot of stuff to work out about this, and how exactly do you make it work? And I also think, look, as funny as it would be for Disney to have a movie that cost them, $500 million to make, and then all of a sudden they realize it gets a 100% tariff on it. As funny as that would be to witness, we also have to remember that for every massive big budget Disney movie that comes out, there's a ton of kind of independent filmmakers that are doing things and trying to get things released. And man, if you're kind of on a shoestring budget and say you made this thing for $500,000 and you're desperately hoping that you can recoup that money and maybe somebody will pick it up or whatever, all of a sudden that gets tariffed. It could have a big impact on obviously big corporations, but it'll also have maybe even a bigger impact on kind of smaller films and smaller filmmakers. And what if you do want to do, say, whether it's a period piece or you want to go to Italy to film this thing because that's where it's set? There's just so many there's so many things that I do not understand how or why they will implement them and in what way. But this is the second time that Trump has mentioned this. He seems rather serious about it. And certainly I'm an advocate of these companies that are based here in America actually employing Americans instead of going across overseas to try to get a little bit of money back. Now, we need to help that too. We need to offer better, like, reasons for people to film here in America. We need to offer those same types of benefits that they're getting overseas. But I
I
just
think
I just don't know, man.
I think we might start seeing that in some of the states where the states will be like, yeah, come film here and we'll make all that stuff possible. But yeah, if a certain, just example, if Florida were to step up and give them the same type of benefit, then we'll see a lot more films, maybe studios pop up over here as well. I think the one thing that a lot of people also forget is that this could impact the theater going experience or the people that work in movie theaters as well, because how are they, is the price of the ticket going to go way up? Is the price of popcorn going to go way up? So that will keep it's expensive now as it is. People are saving their money instead of going to the theaters. If it doubles, which is kind of extreme, that will probably keep more people out, and some of the local theaters might end up closing down, if that's how they try to recoup some money. But then, yeah, then there's the other thing. Well, what if they say, well, F you, Trump, we're just going to put it right on our streaming service and like a pay-per-view thing. Even though they've tried that, it didn't work well. But yeah, there's a lot to try to unpack. And I guess we'll start, if it stays, if Trump is serious and it stays, I guess we'll start to see numbers eventually. We could see how all that looks, on what they're actually charging. It would be
Yeah.
pretty crazy though. Like, we
I
value
have
your film at $1 billion coming into this country, so we have to tax you $1 billion for it to be released.
yeah, I think that there's so many hurdles in the way to get this implemented. We'll see what happens. And
Yeah,
maybe there'll
are they going to be like, if you hire so many Americans and just bring them with you, you're good to go, right? Because you're filming on location, or is it one of those things?
well,
So
maybe, but again, one of the reasons that the UK offers those things is for, hey, so we can get some of the people that are here employed in this, and also then it brings more value to the economy while those people are here. All this shit, right? So there would be a lot that goes into it. I don't know. I do not know.
we'll find out once they start charging, because then that'll be the excuse, right? From Hollywood, we can't really make films right now because cost too much.
Heaven forbid.
And they're just like, well, the reason why it bombed in the box office because we had to charge so much, and that's Trump's fault. So you could blame Trump, get him out of the office.